The full-time cyber zone.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, this is exciting because we haven't done this in like half a year. Was it like last October, November, maybe?
It's been a long time. I think even like when we did that one, it had been
months.
Yeah.
Well, Cyber Zone is now a biannual show.
Right.
It's 4 hours per year of excellent entertainment. That's good gum, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm done with it, but it's good. Oh, okay. One of the things that actually prompted me to want to get onto the Cyber Zone so we could begin discussing again. And people can watch me play Donkey Kong Country here in a second if they really want to, which even if you don't want to, nobody's going to be watching this.
No, I mean,
I guess I could advertise it, but like whatever. People,
I'll post. Is there a link? Do we have a link? I'll post something.
Sure. I'll post something as well too. And you can just link from that. Let's see. The event page, right? That's what we're linking from too? From?
Yeah.
Event page, or should I do the actual? I'm going to check it real quick and see where it brings us.
That bulldog I said a hip, a hop, a hippie. I ever do the hip hop. Hip hop is the sound that a rabbit makes.
Now it's nothing. It's like something happened. Oh, now it's all tiny again.
Yeah.
No? This is stupid. Hello, microphone. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so now that's good, and we can increase the size of the video. And I'm actually going to take the text off. And that way we have like a full screen Donkey Kong going on. Weird. Okay. Well, let me go kill that. Okay. We should be good. Get here. Okay, holy crap, I'm excited. Because now it seems to be working.
We did it.
We did it. All right, podcast over. Okay. No, Radon and I have been...
I just had an idea for a podcast.
Okay.
Before each episode,
Yeah.
Someone builds like...
Oh.
They set the computer up in such a way that it is not working correctly for a podcast. And then the entire podcast is just us trying to make it so that it could record a podcast, and then it's over.
Okay. Because I did, like it's like a troubleshooting mission.
Yeah.
Okay. That sounds like every podcast we normally have. Oh my God. Okay.
We just make it the premise though, and then we're off the hook.
That's true. Yeah, we're not accountable. We're actually working as intended.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things about like this and Super Mario World that I think the subsequent Mario games didn't actually capitalize on quite the same is the nuances of holding down to swim in increments and holding up to swim large.
So the thing about that is I never knew, just the kind of way I play platformers, I knew that you could hold up and go flying. I never, ever attempted to hold down while swimming. So I didn't know about that until like a month ago.
Yeah, oh, it's literally the best thing that's ever happened. Oh, except for that. Well, there you go. Having the control, I mean, it doesn't make me any better, but it's really cool that the game itself is designed around like a mechanic in which you can totally do that.
Mm-hmm.
And little control nuances like that really make a world of difference in how you play stuff like this. Getting to fine tune. I really like this game.
It's a good game, but
I
think it was the worst game
on the Super Nintendo.
Yeah,
yeah. By and far. Yeah.
Dream TV better than this.
The worst game. It's a good game. However, it's one caveat.
It's great, except I've never played a game that was less entertaining than this one.
No, so far, nothing worse has come out. And I think we had discussed it gets better. The series improves.
Yeah, this is the least fun game that's not handheld with the name Donkey Kong Country.
Yeah.
In the title.
Yeah. It's remarkably well done. A lot of fun. Still looks great. Still plays great. And yeah, to think that they improved in a lot of ways every single time. I mean, 2 still stands out to me the most in terms of just like theme that I resonated with. But man, 3 is freaking great. We had a brief discussion about this, but the foresty area and the world map that was a little more freeform in terms of exploration.
Mm-hmm.
You get the boat, you get to go drive around, and you know there's bears everywhere, and that's kind of a cool departure from just monkey theme. You know, monkey shines.
Yeah.
So,
Monkey Trouble.
Yeah, the
remember that movie?
I do. I remember the commercials because he's the Ace of Base song.
I used to watch that movie a lot when I was a kid. I remember, I wrote we were doing like journals in like 3rd or 4th grade English or something like that.
Yeah.
And I remember one day I was like, I watched Monkey Trouble and I think it's the best movie ever.
That's the journal. That's what you would rate.
Yeah.
This level used to blow my mind. Number one, because I always thought like the pre-rendered snow like this looked so cool, and just like the texture was so vivid. And I loved this background because you get like the trees with the snow in them.
It has the dynamic snow in the level too.
And then you have the 4 layers of snow as brought to you by, I remember the dudes from the Donkey Kong video showcasing that. And they were like, holy crap, there's 4 layers of snow. And then by the time the blizzard sets in and the mountain starts to dim, and the mountain looks great. The mountain looks just like our Sandias as it's approaching, the evening. And that alone is super cool. But yeah, I remember being just so blown away visually by this level. And this stands out to me exponentially more than almost any other level in this whole game. One of my favorite things was watching the videos, and actually I did this on my little test podcast the other day, besides jumping into a green bee, was that you got to like watch like the testers up in the treehouse, which is like the first look into that ever, which is mind-blowing for Nintendo. You get to watch some of the treehouse guys like showcase a little bit of the technique that goes into what they do playtesting wise, and they've literally played these levels dozens of times. I mean, looking for stuff, and so you're watching these dudes go through, and you not like this, Jesus, and they're blasting away through the barrels perfectly every single time, quick enough to where like it's speedrun quality, kind of blasting. And there's rewards for it, like getting a 3-up balloon because you've gone through every single barrel perfectly. And I remember that inspiring me a whole lot to try to get really good at that. And then as soon as a friend of mine was like, "Hey man, I beat the game in under like a certain amount of time," I remember thinking, "Oh my god, like now we can threw the barrel away. We can quantify it and try to race each other." And so that's what we would do, with this becoming basically my first speedrun experience in games.
Yeah.
And the game is very much set up like that, like everything is very deliberately done to where you want to go fast. And I thought that was super duper duper cool. So yeah, this game always stands out to me simply because it's I don't know, it's amazing. It's wonderful. It's set up.
It's really well designed.
Yeah.
And it was retracted later, but I remember Miyamoto saying, like, I don't get it. I don't think it's that good.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I can kind of understand where he's coming from, because essentially it's all Donkey Kong Country 1 is really notable for, in my mind. Like, it does a lot of things really well. It adds the clock to the save files, which like you mentioned, we didn't have in anything but really RPGs.
Yeah. Like Mario Kart.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god, what am I doing?
I've never played this before. Extra Lives.
Yeah, I don't do those.
There's nothing really innovative about this game. You play it and you realize that aside from the barrels, all you're really doing is running and jumping. It is a platform game to the purest degree, but it's refined down.
Oh boy.
To something that makes it notable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like if you were to like say to someone like, should I play Castlevania or Contra? And you have to say like what makes those games unique.
Right.
And there really isn't a case you could make for what makes Donkey Kong Country unique.
Yeah.
Like, the graphics are really good. They're for their time, for the Super Nintendo.
Sure. Yeah, the graphics are probably the most revolutionary part about any of this experience, but it really is just something that has been so well tempered that the control is very precise. And I mean, like, anything that I'm doing where I'm killing myself over and over is 100% my fault.
Yeah.
And I'm cool accepting that responsibility because I'm doing, oh boy, jumping the gun. It's what I really like is that the game is refined control-wise to a point where speed running is doable, and it's very much in the player's control. And there's benefits for taking risks with certain maneuvers, like rolling off of the edge, or Jesus Christ, what am I doing? Or I I can't do this and talk at the same time. Or rolling through enemies where like it increases your speed. You know, like there's lots of little perks.
What do you think that second letter's supposed to be? Like K blank NG.
I don't know.
King
Monkey. the king of the monkeys. I remember at school a long time ago, you know, when we first got like computers to be able to use in school, which was, you know, unheard of and mind-blowing. Well, yes, we'd always been using computers for, like Apple IIes.
Apple IIs, yeah. The CD-ROM is really the next jump. Like some schools, you might have had like one Mac in the library.
Yeah.
When CD-ROMs and Laserdiscs came out,
my cats are awful creatures. They're curious and stupid. I think they knocked over a spatula, and then they all freaked themselves out. That's funny. It wasn't Larry's fault. He's looking around as if someone's going to blame him.
Well, he knows. He knows.
Here's what I'm going to do real quick. I'm going to save. Create a restore point. So I want to show you something in this level.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see. But what are we discussing?
Laserdiscs, CD-ROMs,
computers, and so in school.
This is that glitch you were gonna tell me.
Yeah, there's a glitch in this level that's pretty much like once it's done, like I gotta reload the save point.
Why is there an armadillo in an ice cave?
He got lost.
He's really lost.
Yeah,
he's just wanting to give some snowman leprosy.
Yeah, he wants somebody to die. Die. Okay. We do it here. Let's do it with Donkey Kong. I don't like the idea of having to climb down a rope with resistance to it. It's very weird. It sucks because I actually had a save file where I was up there, and I'm trying to remember, like, you know, it's just button mashing until you go through.
How did you find this?
A friend of mine.
Oh, there it is. Almost. There we go.
Yep. And so now, like, you're stuck in here. which is cool and awful at the same time because like you can't do anything. You can like that bee won't kill Donkey Kong, but it'll kill Diddy. I'm not mistaken, so we can get Diddy to get hit by it, but Donkey Kong has to. Okay, cool. Yeah. Well, there we go. Never mind.
Problem solved.
Excellent. Has to turn around and get his hitbox back far enough. But this is during like the advent of like a lot of internet kind of stuff. And I don't even remember where I was going with this story, but I was thinking about having computers and stuff and access them in middle school. Oh, yeah. And this is like more of like high school because this is 9th grade. And we were just starting to get like, you know, good color PCs that we were allowed to use for various things. And there was a Donkey Kong clone that somebody had downloaded called Champ Kong. I was going to say Donkey King, but it was Champ Kong. And it was literally just Donkey Kong. But it was, you know, like shareware or whatever, which has always been an interesting idea to me.
Yeah.
From the 90s. And so during class, I would just play that instead of doing the things I was supposed to be doing. No, this game really just, it looks and feels
right.
So good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My only problem with these three, 1 and 3, that is, I think a big part of the reason why 2 is, I think 2 is the best one.
Yeah.
But for me, it stands out because
damn it.
Hate the big fat Kongs. I want quick, nimble chimps.
Oh, so you don't like so Diddy and Dixie is your ideal matchup.
Yeah, it was just perfect. I could just run everywhere and hairspin.
Yeah, the hairspin is just too good. I love that Donkey Kong Country 3 like didn't even come close to playing like Donkey Kong at all. Like,
yeah.
He almost essentially just was not in the game. Yeah. Kiddy Kong.
Yes.
Was who we're talking about, and he just what wizardry causes you to slip up a rope? Is it an ice rope? Like, because it always seemed like they had to, you know, there's an element of like slipperiness to them, right? So I like to equivocate them with being icy, but then icy that pulls you.
Right. Okay, here's what I think.
Okay.
I think it's a pulley at the top.
Okay.
And it's just perfectly flush with the camera, so you never see the identical rope that is swinging at the exact same frequency behind it.
Okay. 100% orthographic is what basically that would be qualified as, and that makes me really. That's awesome. Yeah, man, I used to have this down to an art, and I really, really loved it. So, well, another thing that made me want to. That's weird. OGCon.
OG.
That prompted me to want to discuss podcasting kind of stuff was I was looking in that little book of yours that you brought, the 151.
An illustrated history of 151 video games.
And it showed Pokemon. And now I got to thinking that, Nintendo has announced that they're going to be getting into the foray of mobile gaming. And the branding is not going to be, important like in so much as it is getting Nintendo quality mobile titles that will really prove that the mobile market is just, being skimped out on by people who know how to make a quick mobile buck, right?
A mobile dollar.
one portable dollar. Oh, let me just jump into this fart head.
He went flying.
He did.
He was like, I'm out.
He's gone.
Fuck you.
So, but what if Nintendo is waiting for the right moment? And I don't think they would actually do this, because I think if they're going to try to optimize something, it would be much better suited for a 3DS type experience. If the reason that they have not yet put Pokemon classic Game Boy Virtual Console stuff is because they're waiting to find a good way to be able to mobilely link Pokemon games. Because ideally, if you're going to put Pokemon Red and Blue, or Yellow, or Gold, Silver, Crystal, whatever, you'd want them to be able to link up. And because Game Boy games don't have like a native linking option,
right?
They want to do something and wait for that. But what if they're developing an original nostalgic Pokemon classic Game Boy remake for the phones? And not for like an MMO kind of purpose, but literally the same game engine, the same everything, but with a mobile online trading and battling system. I don't think it's going to be the case, but imagine what would happen.
See, I'm stodgy enough and like OG Pokemon enough that it upsets me how many online features the current gen games have.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm like, oh, you can just throw a Pokemon in a box and some person on the internet gets it, and then you can get a Pokemon from some person you don't know either. That's stupid.
Fair.
But yeah.
So if literally the only two functionalities were literally what the link cable would offer from the original game,
I think it would be more fun and more Nintendo is if there were a mobile phone Pokemon or a. I was talking yesterday about how we need to stop saying smartphone. It's like saying telephone.
That's fair.
Or telefridge.
To
transport food to someone else.
So mobile phone, mobile gaming.
So you've got your iOS device or your Android.
Yeah.
And you get notifications. You have a push notifications. You have a notification bar.
Sure.
So what if you could set it to essentially Street Pass, and you get a little beep on your thing, and you look at it, and it says like, "Oh, this person within this radius of you has a Mankey that they're trying to trade. Like, do you want to trade for a Mankey, or do you want to battle this person?" Rather than just having it faceless, whoever internet.com.
Yeah. Make
it so that it actually does require some kind of proximity.
Okay. So that way, what would be fun about that is basically, okay, so a guy wants to trade you a Mankey, but if you don't respond in time or he doesn't respond in time, you can,
Yeah.
Well, you can still essentially say, okay, I'm going to pick this up later, and then respond to him, but I know that this is a person that I met because he was within proximity of me. But then we can complete the transaction at the leisure of either person when it's convenient for them. So I can go home and I can say accept the Mankey trade, but it'll have to be with that guy, and it would have to be the person who street passes you. So I want to keep it local. So now, what if, and this could be what Nintendo might want to do, and of course this is all speculation. I have no clue what Nintendo's going to do because very strange company. They beat their own drum.
You're not a Nintendo.
I'm not a Nintendo Entertainment System.
Yeah.
So what if I just dodged the K successfully? The potassium.
Yeah. Which is found in bananas.
Right, exactly, yeah.
I think that's why Donkey Kong starts with a K.
I only eat processed
Donkey Kong.
like grown bananas and not pure potassium. Otherwise, I have like an overload and my body dies.
Potassium explodes when you put it in water.
What am I doing? I've done the same thing twice in a row! Jump into that jellyfish. Okay.
So Donkey Kong eats so many bananas. Do you think that when he gets to a water level, he's just trying not to burst?
Yeah, exactly. Just the pressure grips his body.
He's like 30% potassium. The longer you stay down here, the more of his internal organs are just bursting.
When he snags a banana, is he eating it actively or is he just like storing it?
Where would he be storing them other than his stomach?
Well, like they get sent to like something. It looks like a Pokemon box. Like they fly into the corner and they don't go into his mouth. So if there's some sort of like mobile transport unit where bananas go.
Telenana.
Right, exactly, the telefridge. But what if Nintendo, for their mobile phone games, creates, with the new revamped Club Nintendo, you link your 3DS, you link your Wii U, you link any subsequent systems, but you also link a cell phone account to it. Okay. And that way, it's essentially a friends list kind of thing that is now completely universalized for Nintendo folk. And if you want to trade with your buddies online, right on. But then if you want to have a Street Pass style function on your phone as well for something like this, okay, that's also being accounted for and accommodated too. Now, what if they had something where it could reach into a database and Pokemon mobile players could theoretically trade with Pokemon DS players or Wii U players, not in physical proximity, but online through this account system? Because with the fact that they're refurbishing like Club Nintendo entirely, like it makes me think that like there's going to be something like a much bigger paradigm shift in Nintendo's like strategy that will lend itself more towards like a universalized system that will make more sense between phones and consoles in terms of like a system like that.
So what I'm hoping, because what I really want out of Club Nintendo, whatever they wind up turning it into, Nintendo is now officially the only company the only console maker that is not giving out free games. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that they don't have a subscription service. Right. They could make Club Nintendo a subscription service, and I'd be okay with that. But what I really want is just like a free virtual console game every month. It can be Urban Champion.
I agree, though. I do agree that the incentive of having a subscription, getting perks, and free games, a 3DS game or a Wii U game, or whatever it is, and maybe it's just a discount on like a digital title like they do, or like you get your freebie per month, and you could stack up your virtual console library. I think would be fantastic. I would be all for it. But then it would also be really, really, really cool for them to see if this could be an infrastructure revitalization that would say, hey, you bought Castlevania on your 3DS, well, you get it for the Wii U for even $1, even if it's like the small upgrade kind of fee. I'd be very okay with that, because I've had to cross buy a lot of these games multiple times. I bought it for the Wii, paid $1 upgrade to buy it for the Wii U Virtual Console, paid another $5 to buy it for 3DS, which ultimately is only like $11 still for Castlevania 2 or whatever across 3 systems. But still, it's Sony's been doing it for so long, and Microsoft has like an easier transfer system, and of course they don't have a portable to contend with. But it just seems like at this point it would really make sense for Nintendo to say we're revamping in the best way possible. And I don't expect any of these virtual console games to show up on mobile phones anytime soon, because I know that's really not the route that they're trying to take with this. But I would really like to see some sort of reestablishment in terms of distribution or subscription or membership of some sort, and I would pay a premium price for that.
Why are none of these oil barrels not on fire? And yet you need a flashlight to find your way in this cave.
That's true. Yeah, there should be plenty of light going on. Who's responsible for this? Is this K-Rool's doing it, or is this like literally just a cave that just happens to be on the way? I didn't even mean to do that. Well, whatever. I want a banana.
That's a good question, because did K-Rool set up each of these levels to provide a progressive learning curve for Donkey Kong in order to prepare him for a showdown.
So which would mean K. Rool is basically the ultimate teacher.
Yeah. When you can snatch the banana from his hand.
The lesson.
Oh
no!
Oh damn.
Yeah. The lesson has been learned.
Yep.
That's a good question.
Because then the other alternative is just that he has spies everywhere, right?
Yeah. Let's get eaten by that thing.
That his army is so large that the path that you don't even have to take, just the path that Donkey Kong has chosen to take,
right,
is littered with bad guys.
Yeah. He happened to go just the worst way possible.
There's a strange. I think if you go to the world map, he could have just gone the other way around the mountain and basically gotten there immediately.
Yeah. No, he just did not think this out. Or maybe like the allure of bananas. Maybe K. Rool sprinkled the bananas in such a breadcrumbs in such a path that Donkey Kong
so he could find his way back to Donkey Kong.
Right, exactly. Whereas Donkey Kong literally could have circumvented the entire thing and just climbed straight up the mountain and been fine. I don't know. But I always wonder, and obviously for the sake of game design, all this kind of nonsense makes complete sense in the regards that, you want to have 50 levels to play through instead of, one sensible trek up a mountain to get to the last boss. But, the same reason Dr. Wily doesn't, say, hey, at the beginning of Cutman stage, I'm just going to make spikes where Mega Man would teleport in.
Right.
Or make every last enemy covered in a Metool's helmet.
I was playing X3 today, and there's a gator enemy that eats the ground and turns it into spikes, and I was like, finally.
Yeah.
a robot that generates spikes.
You get a bunch of those and you're good. But then I saw a Dorkly video tonight that was, oh my god, about the Metool or whatever, and that their helmets really are the most durable alloy in the Mega Man franchise.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure what it is that causes them to be so invincible.
Because no weapon beats them, right? They just have to be open.
They have to be open. As far as I can remember, if they're not open, you will not kill them. Maybe
I feel like Gravity Man or something like that.
Yeah, Gravity Crash or Crush or whatever. Does the Beehole Bomb in
Beehole Bomb?
Yeah.
From Beehole Man?
From Beehole Man. From Black Hole Man. Or Black Hole Man. That was in Gravity Man. Gravity Man has the Beehole Bomb.
Does he?
Concrete Man has the C-Shot.
Okay, no, you're thinking of Galaxy Man.
Galaxy Man, right. Okay, Mega Man 9. Yeah. You're correct. Very naughty, too. Oh my god, I forgot that he does a super jump. It really has been some time. Can I knock him? No, I have to wait until he... Okay.
I hate that laugh.
I know. It makes me think of King of the Hill for some weird reason. I know, it doesn't make any sense, but that's the association.
King of the Hill. I did not like that show. And I like it more now because I live here near Texas.
Mm-hmm.
But living in Ohio, I was like, these are stupid hicks that stand in the street and drink beer and go, mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's just
but then you're like, oh, that's what people do.
Yeah.
Also, I think the thing that I've noticed is that people who say they are fans of King of the Hill or that they like King of the Hill.
Yeah.
I hate Peggy. I hate her.
Uh-huh.
And I feel like you have to like her in order to really, truly enjoy King of the Hill.
Sure.
I hate her. She's awful.
Kill her.
I can't. She's animated.
Dip.
Oh, Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Right.
Yeah. Well, Christopher Lloyd isn't dead yet.
That's true.
So I can't steal his dip.
His fun dip?
His snooze.
Okay, so this actually, now that we're getting up on it, this is, I think, one of the most interesting and unprecedented level secrets.
And bullshit.
In the history. I probably had to use Nintendo Power because there's no intuitive way to know this secret.
Yeah.
Because the point of this one is to get 3 bananas.
Instead of any of the cool prizes.
Yeah.
Get the shitty prize. And then
it becomes a barrel, and you actually still have to like dash into the wall. Yeah. And you open up a second room. So this is like the only room in Donkey Kong Country that has a bonus within a bonus.
It's a cool idea.
Mm-hmm.
It's also bullshit.
It is, yeah, because there's just really no way that you should know this. How do naughties get in here?
They eat the barrels.
Do the barrels transport them inside once they've been eaten?
Yeah. Like, because if you get in a barrel, it shoots you somewhere, right? What in the barrel? It's just a barrel. It's not. It doesn't have a firing mechanism. There's got to be some kind of transportational field.
That's true.
And if you consume it, then you can enter a factory.
That makes sense. Barrels have magical properties. I feel bad for Manky Kong.
Because he doesn't get to hang out with the other Kongs?
I feel that he has the mange.
He does.
Like, it should have been like... mangy Donkey Kong becomes Manky Kong.
Right. If he gives Donkey Kong the mange.
Yeah. Then Donkey Kong has it and becomes Manky Kong. Oh my god. Do you think for every Donkey Kong that was killed in the original game, it became a Manky Kong?
Oh. Did they die?
Well, I mean...
Eventually.
Okay, so like...
How long does an ape live?
Donkey Kong Jr. Every time you kill Donkey Kong Jr., he becomes a Manky Kong. And when
yeah, that actually fits this timeline. You're right.
The timeline of Donkey Kong Country. Oh, the story elements of this game.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, they totally knocked over a spatula and
a pan?
Yep.
Okay. There's nothing in that pan. It was ex-chicken.
No, it's not even a pan. It's like a popcorn tin lid.
Really?
Yeah.
Weird. Oh! I almost killed myself. I'm trying to think of what they could have...
Also, I'm really curious if there's a stain on the side of your paper towel.
Oh, Lex had a plate of chili, and she was pulling down a paper towel, and it fell into the chili. The whole like roll just came tumbling off. So that's what happened. It was very brave, very handsome. I think these are the levels overall. I didn't dislike any of these, but these are the ones that held my interest the least.
Yeah, auto scrollers in general of any kind.
Yeah.
But not great.
No. Speaking of auto scrolling, and it's only slightly speaking of it, but
so like auto scrolling.
Yes, whispering auto scrolling. I just downloaded Mario 3 for the 3DS Virtual Console because for some reason didn't have it, and I was like, well, this will be fun to practice speedrunning on because that's one of the games that I like to go through periodically and really like just really try to go through and see what I can do. And it's down to like around 15 minutes. So I've done it a fair amount, and give or take the time spent with the magic hands. But as I was playing the 3DS version, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna take my time and go through this game because I realized that it's been so long since I've actually played through the full game because all I do is speedrun it, at this point.
Yeah. That
I feel like I'm missing out on so much, and it's so nostalgic to go back through and play levels that I haven't played in literally, years, maybe even decades, because I just skip over the majority of them. And sometimes it's just like, it's nice to take that break and just be like, you know what, I'm experiencing the game and not the speedrun, not the challenge or whatever.
I think like a lot of early Marios you can beat really quickly with warps, and you miss the best parts of all of those games.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so it's a blast to go back through and really just play it, And I've gone through every single level. I just got to World 4, and oh man, it brings back good memories. It's bringing back some goodness that I really enjoy. Con artist.
Con Air.
Con Air. So, have you ever seen the brand Nutone? Nutone.
Nut one.
No, well, see, when I was little, I thought I couldn't decide if it was Nut One or Nutone, because if I'm not mistaken, we had this heater that was in our bathroom at the house I grew up in, and Nutone, and I feel that the N and the O were both capitalized, and it could have been the N and the T, but I remember every time I would go to the bathroom, I'd sit there pooping my pants. Well, hopefully not. That'd be really bad. To go in the bathroom.
You're in the bathroom,
right? And and be pooping and see Nutone, but I could never tell if it was Nutone or Nut One. And as an adult, I guess it makes a lot more sense. But Nut One still. I was at Madeline's house last night, just hanging out, and we were watching a movie, and she had a Nutone stove, a Nut One stove.
It's like cellular one.
Yeah, exactly.
Nut one. Fiber one.
Fiber one.
What if you want nuts instead? I'm sorry, one nut.
One nut. Yeah, nut one. It's like Apollo 13, but Apollo 1.
Apollo 1 was Apollo Creed, right?
Yeah. He was the first Apollo.
And then there was the mythological Apollo after that.
Right, yeah, he came second, and he was named after Apollo Creed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because they have the same powers.
Yeah, they can all fly to space if they needed to. That's the one thing the Apollos universally have in common. Oh, no.
What are these? Are they like
coal?
Coffins?
Yeah, this is monkey coffins.
Oh.
All the Manky Kongs. I don't think God would find that to be very funny.
Well, he canceled, so we can't ask him.
He canceled Reaper, the show?
Yeah. He found it offensive.
Oh, God. Oh, God, you devil.
That was a movie, right?
Yeah, George Burns.
Yeah. That was weird.
Mm-hmm. The idea of George Burns playing God is funny. Oh, no! Okay. But see, thanks to the control in this game, which, again, I love games that make it feel like if you mess up, that's your fault. And you take full responsibility for the fact that you weren't controlling your gentleman properly. And this game really makes me feel like if I'm doing something wrong, it's because it's me and definitely not a crappy mechanic.
Yeah. Although Donkey Kong is just floating there.
That's true. Innocently.
Just idling the day. Nico says two things.
Two things.
I love. And miss him.
Are these two separate thoughts, or are they to be combined?
That's how I'm interpreting them.
Okay.
He says, tell John I love and miss him.
Oh. Okay, so that's what's implied, or is that what he said?
I think he's capable of loving, and he wants you to miss a mail, an unspecified mail.
Like a letter?
Like an unaddressed letter.
Okay. So before it becomes...
like a message in a bottle, basically.
Okay, is that mail?
I think it's mail. What qualifies something to be mail?
Mail to anybody. Anybody mail is like a message in a bottle.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like if there's a box at the post office, like a P.O. box.
Yeah.
But everyone had a key. You can just be like, I didn't get any mail today. And you just go in and grab a letter.
Yeah, just pick one. Anyone you want. It might be a check from grandma. It might be it could be anything. There's options. Okay, I'm okay with that.
I like it. We should start doing that.
Yeah, I'd be.
I really want to do stuff like that in my life. I want to just send, addresses are in the phone book with an initial and a last name.
Right.
You could easily write a letter to someone you've never met. Know exactly where to send it, and just say something really nice. But then the cops will get called out here.
The cops get called, and my biggest fear is that you're gonna be like, hey, it's gonna be okay, and this will be the day after somebody's father got run over by a tractor or whatever, and the sentiment is nice, but there's not now. I don't want to accidentally say something that's just bad timing or inappropriate. Though, well wishes are universally, pretty good. But, if you have that one Scrooge out there and he interprets it as a threat or something, I don't know. People are.
That's why I code all my thank you notes in Anthrax.
Oh, okay. Code or code?
I code them in a programming language written by the band members of Anthrax.
By Ian Page, or what? Not Ian Page. Ian Young?
I don't know.
I don't remember the Anthrax band members' names. I actually did at one point, even though I don't really listen to them.
They had half of a song in Tony Hawk 2. So, yeah, they did a song with Public Enemy.
Oh, speaking of Tony Hawk 2, I'm thinking about Rock Band right now.
I would like Rock Band.
Because Donkey Kong.
It's like a curse.
Yeah.
Oh, Donkey Kong.
Oh, Donkey Kong. Because Rock Band opened up like a little like web portal that is type in a band name and type in the song from the band and then just request. And so like they had that for Rock Band 3, but the Rock Band 4 one just opened up.
Yeah.
And I've already put in plenty of suggestions, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah. All Osmonds.
All the Osmond songs, and every cover of any Osmond song.
Yeah.
So.
Didn't Jack Osbourne have an album? Like Ozzy Osbourne's Fat Son?
I don't know. I don't know if he was like musically inclined at all. His kids. I like his wife. She seems like, she'd be cool to hang out with, but like, I don't know about his kids. And of course, I haven't seen like anything on them since the Osbourne show, so I can't actually say if they're obnoxious at this point because people change. But I remember when I put Diddy Kong's face right into a gear and just grind the flesh off his eyes. You know what really made this like look super cool to me, and this is one of my favorite effects, and it's kind of minimal and very easy, but the fact that like Donkey Kong, when they did like a really hard shading, so like any part of his body part that's behind him, like his backhand or his leg, is completely shaded, gave it like so much more depth than if it were just a great looking 3D model without the proper lighting.
Although it is weird that he's kind of, you've complained about this in other games, I think, where he's kind of coming toward the screen a bit.
Yeah, it's true. He's slightly, like not fully. And again, orthographic is the term that we use. And in 3D animation, it was very much just like if you were modeling a scene and you were doing it completely from a side angle without any sort of depth at all. You literally have just like your X and Y axis, and that's it. So Mario 1, even Mario 1, Mario 3 is the best example because like his feet are perfectly aligned and his eye is just going straight forward. Yeah. Whereas in Mario 1, even like he's sort of standing, towards the screen, but his face. He's got that like
fighting Irish. Like,
exactly. He's in Notre Dame. Yeah. Right. Whereas in Mario World, he does have the kind of uncomfortable. I'm looking in this direction, but I'm facing slightly away from it. Yeah, it's really uncomfortable, and it makes me feel awkward that Mario is not ready to like, fully take on whatever he's doing. He'll do it because you're in command, but he's not ready for it. And these fish are coming way too fast for my comfort. And I'm going to die. No. Okay. Edging towards the exit. All right, good.
Why did someone bother to put an exit sign in the middle of an underwater cave?
Courtesy. Just, one of those.
This leads me to believe that K. Rool did not set up these levels.
Yeah, maybe it was Cranky, like years ago.
And they should do like a Cranky Kong country.
I would like that. And I feel that with Donkey Kong Country Returns, Tropical Freeze, and Cranky coming back into the limelight, do you mean like you want to do something when Cranky Kong was younger? Yes. So between the time that Donkey Kong was born, this Donkey Kong was born, and Cranky Kong had finished up his escapades with Mario.
Here's the gimmick.
Okay.
You can't travel through time, but you can fast forward and rewind Cranky's life. So you can play as old Cranky Kong.
Oh my god.
Or baby Cranky Kong.
Weird.
Babies are cranky.
Babies are cranky. Okay. So would he have a different moniker, or like Was he known as Donkey Kong only to Mario, but Cranky Kong like his family, or was it only when he became old and cranky?
Okay, so here's the question.
Okay.
Are the Kongs just so like friendly and familiar with each other that they don't use their real names? Or is Funky Kong called Funky Kong because he's funky? And everyone uses that. Maybe they're all named Donkey Kong, and that's the only way they can tell each other apart.
So like George Foreman. You might be right. I made
Which
a
is sad
mistake.
for Diddy, like Diddy.
Diddy.
Oh, maybe. No, I don't know. Maybe he likes Sean Puffy Combs a lot.
Well, have you ever seen? I feel like Diddy is some sort of weird like British term for like kid, right? Because, and this is going to sound really strange, but a long time ago on the internet, we found a group of like male dancers, and normally there's Chippendales, right?
Yeah.
And they come out and they strip for you. Well, don't ask me how this happened. We found.
Why would I ever ask you that question?
That's true. We found a group of like kids that were like 11-year-old kids that were basically Chippendales. See, this is what I'm getting. But like they didn't strip, they just did like the dances, but they were called Chippenditties. And you can look it up on YouTube, and like they run around shirtless, and they have like little tight, glossy blue pants or whatever, and they jump on the floor, and then they thrust their pelvises everywhere, and it's basically like Chippendales in training, but Chippenditties was the term that was used. I know. There's nothing illegal about this. And I don't remember how it came up, but it did somehow.
Disclaimer.
Yeah, exactly.
Nothing illegal about what they do or what you did?
Nothing. I mean, because like we weren't looking at naked kids. It like I don't know. Like it was one of those things where in college, like all we would ever try to do is find like videos to weird each other out. Whether it's like chicks eating their own vomit or whatever, or 11-year-old boys dressed up as Chippendales. I don't know. But it happened somehow, and that's all I can tell you. But Chippenditties was the term. So I feel that Diddy has to be...
I figured out why British people say arsehole.
Arsehole.
That's always kind of... I don't get that term.
Yeah.
Because I'm not English.
Right.
But I was trying to say, like, butthole in a forceful, like, Cockney slang.
Yeah.
And it's like, oi, look at this butthole.
It
doesn't sound good, so you need to not have a T in your butthole, in your word for butthole.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. The T gets jacked up.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Okay, but why do they say arse instead of ass?
I think that's just like, again, it's sort of the they can't use two S's in a row in England.
Is this the law?
Yeah.
The king?
The king decrees.
Really. The king. British king. Oh, she almost ran over me.
So instead of a blunderbuss, it's a blunderbarse.
Blunderbarse. Okay. Sarson's Creed?
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
And Miss Mississippi is Mars.
Mars Sarpy. It sounds like a children's stories. Okay. Man, I remember the days where I could go through this level really fast. Now I'm just way too scared to like do anything.
Just do it. Go.
Okay. I don't even know what's coming up. I'm just guessing. Nope, I'm not even going for bonuses. Oh, Monkey Kong!
So you just gotta believe and die.
Nope.
Oh,
yeah,
Cog.
Cog Kong. Oh, I don't have a...
There should be a Kong Con, but spelled with another K.
So, like, it's a Donkey Kong only convention?
Yes.
I could set that up. I don't know if a lot of people would attend, but it could be like a weekend event at the store. I forgot, this is one of the weirdest bosses.
Yeah.
Let it kill itself. But I did really, really like that when you roll through an enemy or whatever, like your speed would just pick up like crazy. And obviously you can't do it like through the little claptraps or whatever. But like the What are the snakes called in this? I want to call them ropies or ropes.
I think you're right. I think it's ropey.
Well, ropey's the vulture.
Oh.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
No. But rope is the name of the Zelda snakes.
Right.
Which is really weird, but I guess, like through some sort of weird like association, someone looked at it, was like, I think that's a rope. And the guy was like, no, the rope is biting you. And he goes, well, let's just keep calling it a rope. And they're like, all right, fine. Like, that's what it had to be. King Hyrule.
Yeah.
Was
eaten by
ultimately
snakes.
He got eaten by snakes, and they're like, this looks like a bunch of ropes. And so they just stuck.
I like the idea that, like a lot of NES sprites don't quite look like the things they're supposed to look like.
Yeah.
What if the ropes were supposed to just look like ropes and they couldn't figure out a way?
And they messed it up really, getting the heads on accident?
Yeah. They're like, it just doesn't look right. Give them heads. Don't change the name, though.
Yeah, just we've already programmed in the word rope to the game.
Now try and imagine what that did to P-Hat.
Oh, true.
Damn it, John.
I'm sorry.
They don't say rope. Like, they coded it in, and they're like, we're never using this.
Yeah.
It's internal only.
I want to go through and get
tested.
I want to get tested for something to see if I have it or not.
Anything.
It doesn't even matter. Yeah, I'll see
Just
testing
go
for
to
whatever.
the doctor.
Yeah,
like,
just pick
Can
something.
you look for something?
Yeah, do I have any diseases?
Because you go to a mechanic, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, my check engine light is on. Why?
Yeah. Tell me what's wrong.
Yeah.
I want to get like a quick poll. Well, I guess people wouldn't know though, because I want to do like this episode of video game things that have weird names, because some things just have names that are shitty to pronounce, and
Eidolon.
and I can't remember. Did we determine Cecil?
It's Cecil.
It is Cecil, but and then we had thought that Kane might have been pronounced improperly, but it was just like a weird sounding.
Because the first time they say it, they're like, "Oh, it's Kine." And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Fool.
Yeah.
Let's just say petrol.
Oh, come on.
Oh, you're dead. You're dead.
I know.
You're the deadest.
Yep. There he goes. But there's some other ones I was thinking of, and when I was younger, before the Pokemon cartoon had come to pass, I saw Charizard, and I was like, oh, well, that's literally Charizard, because Char lizard, right?
Yeah.
And then, I remember I wrote my song about it. It's really shitty, like 8-track or 4-track recorded song back in high school. And somebody's like, why would you pronounce it Charizard? It's Charizard. And I was like, how did you know that? And they're like, well, the cartoon says so. And I was like, okay, so if you haven't seen the cartoon and you saw that phonetically, what would you think? Right?
Yeah. Is there a word that ends in Izzard?
Eddie Izzard.
Yeah.
I guess his Izzard too, right? It's actually Izzard. I'm pretty sure it's Eddie Izzard.
I always said Eddie Izzard, then someone's like, it's Eddie Izzard.
Is it really?
I think it is.
I think people just make things up.
Like, he's English.
Yeah.
So however I think that's pronounced, it's incorrect.
Oh, do you think they had to edit this game when it came out for the North American audience to make it Donkey Kong spelled Donkey, because the British pronunciation is Dounkey? Because that's what they do for everything.
I thought you were going to say, like, they had to edit it for North America because in England, monkeys go right to left.
That's just right. Or there's like too many tits or something.
They didn't say shit at the end of every level.
Shit. Every single level. There's no reason, but he says it.
Yeah.
He says shit. Why would he say it? If he had a reason to, like, every level he gets his arm cut off or something.
He has to feed Diddy into a wood chipper to open the exit.
So does Diddy say shit or does Donkey say shit?
Donkey says shit because he can't live with the guilt.
Because he's too upset.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. Shit. Okay. So which British words do not have a U after the O? I guess Donkey Kong. Koung. There's
Ocean.
extra letter ocean. There has to be one after ocean. Ocean. I was gonna knock butthole. God damn. Okay. That naughty was placed in the right spot. Oh boy. Okay. Oh man. Get the hell back here. He's gonna die?
Yeah, he's dead.
No.
Nope.
He's trapped. Whoa!
Shit.
Donkey Kong. Shit. Oh, so the Donkey Kong animated series
is terrible.
Is awful, but it's coming to DVD.
Oh.
Next month?
Why?
I don't know.
Who? No. What Canadian kid asked for this?
The problem is, as well, is that I have to buy it on principle of like owning that kind of garbage, but like it's so bad. Well,
speaking of awful Canadian bullshit, I learned a fact that made me even angrier because I was talking with my friend about how Eugene Levy is worthless.
What? Who? I just jumped into pics. I was scared.
I am of the opinion. I don't think Eugene Levy is funny. I don't like him in any movie he's in. And my friend was like, well, maybe it's the movies that he's in. And I was like, okay, well, he's not making them worse then, but he's also doing nothing to improve. He's not making them better.
True.
He is the equivalent of a CG extra.
That's fair. That's a fair assessment of Eugene Levy.
And then I learned, and this will make you wish that he was real and not CG so you could punch his face. Eugene Levy created the Maniac Mansion TV show.
He did?
He did.
What? Okay. What does his experience with Maniac Mansion begin with?
I don't think he has any.
According to the TV show, he does not. That's true. Because I remember there was no bigger disappointment to me than what happened with that show where I was like, oh my God, this is one of my favorite Nintendo games of all time. I'm so excited. Hey, Mom, let's, tell me when this comes on. Well, I'll watch it. I'll be so pumped. And then, of course, you watch it.
And it's terrible.
And it's not good. Wasn't like Ed a fly?
That sounds right.
I don't remember exactly how the show panned out, but any familiar characters were completely redone to something that just didn't make any sense. And then there's a bunch of new stuff. So it was literally name association only, as far as I can really
I don't even
tell.
think it was set in a mansion. I think it was kind of set in like a ranch-style home.
Yeah. We should find those and download them and watch them and do like an analysis.
Oh, God.
Does that sound good?
Literally no.
No.
But, I mean...
But obligation.
Yeah. For the sake of science, maybe.
Right. Kill that barrel. I don't like the idea of a portal that just spits out infinite beavers or snakes.
That's where beavers and snakes come from, though.
Yeah, but I don't like it.
They're asexual. They can't reproduce. They all come from portals.
Beavers and snakes is a very sexual concept.
It is. Maybe that's what they're going for here.
Oh, maybe. Freaking...
The barrel is your mum.
Brits. I only know a handful of Brits. I know two of them. Actually, one dude is, Manny from the UK.
Yeah.
And then this other dude I met online, and his deal is he's a dude from, I think, from Ireland. And I sent him a box of stuff because he was going to be sending me some kind of cool goodies. Because you know how Europe gets like cool exclusive stuff that sometimes we just don't.
Yeah.
And so we did like sort of like a trade. He's going to be sending some stuff over later. Look at this. Look how good that feels.
One up. It bugs me that like all the terms that we use for video game things were all derived in the 80s and were limited by shitty computers and a poor understanding of English.
Yeah.
And it's just what we use.
And now it's a standard. Whoa. Oh, there's a lot of stuff that has become so commonplace, and I really like finding out like the origins of stuff because as far as I understand, 1-Up is Mario. Was that the first? Was it the origin?
Actually, no. It was in a lot of Taito games.
Okay.
Like black and white Taito games. I don't know if that's where it originated, but it does predate Donkey
Mario?
Kong. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's kind of exciting, kind of cool. Because I had no idea. I just sort of assumed because as a kid, that's the first thing I ever saw it in. So,
I think that's the first time it's ever been used in the context of an extra life. Maybe it was Mario, but like the 1-up, 2-up thing at the top of the screen is sort of an arcade staple.
Okay. Was that 1-up or like 1P?
1-up.
Oh, okay. Well then. Orson Welles.
Then. And now.
Orson Welles now.
His new talk show.
Yeah, Orson Welles today. NPR.
If you could turn any NPR, I think if Adrian is still listening, he already has an answer to this. Because he asked me a question the other day that was like, what IPs didn't need games? And so I had like a lot of things off the top of my head.
What IPs? Give me an example.
So the way he asked the question, I understood it as like, if an IP didn't need a game, that means that it had a game, right? It did not need a game, but it had one. As opposed to what IPs would not need games.
And like, what kind of IP are you talking about? Like a movie or like
anything? Like one of my examples was Fido Dido. Does not need a game.
No, not at all.
He's a logo, basically.
Yeah, he did not need a game, but he got just the one.
Yeah,
as far as I'm aware.
So my question is, if you could turn any public radio show or PBS, I'll give you broadcast, television as well.
Okay.
Into a video game, what would it be?
Oh my God. I'm trying to think of if I actually even can think of enough, like, public, Paul Harvey. Never mind. That was easy. I can, that would be it.
Paul Harvey's Radical Quest?
Yeah, exactly. It plays like rock and roll racing. And it has, the announcer was Larry?
Larry the Mouth Huffman?
Loudmouth Larry?
Yeah,
the announcer like from Rock and Roll Racing?
Something like that.
Yeah, he would narrate Paul Harvey narrating like a story about Pepperidge Farm or whatever. Yeah, Paul Harvey, anything. Paul Harvey's Big Adventure.
And you're like, ooh, Paul Harvey lights him up.
Because all I ever want is Paul Harvey anything. But oh my God. So it could be like a Return to Zork style.
So a Gru eats Paul Harvey.
Yeah.
And then he talks about it.
When you say Gru, are you talking about Russian soldiers?
Yeah.
Okay.
A Russian soldier is lost in the woods, stumbles upon Paul Harvey, and eats him.
Yeah. Like, is the soldier starving?
No.
Or
there's a McDonald's that's half a mile up the road. But it embodies capitalism.
Who would Paul Harvey eat?
Harvey Danger. I think that's how it works. Is you have to eat someone whose first name is your last name to keep the chain going.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll be eaten by someone whose last name is John. Maybe John St. John.
Oh my God. Okay. So John St. John, who would eat him?
Another John.
Johnny Knoxville.
No, someone whose last name is John.
Oh.
Sean John. I brought up Puff Daddy again.
So, would Diddy Kong be eaten by P. Diddy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I understand how this works now.
Yeah.
Okay. And Donkey Kong would be eaten by Donkey from Shrek.
Yes. Although Donkey from Shrek is it's like Prince, right?
Yeah.
So you have like certain sort of, it's weird. You can sort of if you have one name, like Madonna, and someone named like Peter Madonna is about to eat you.
There's only really one circumstance of that being able to happen. So,
well, here's the thing.
Okay.
If you have one name, you can find someone else whose first name is Madonna.
Okay.
And they have to eat them instead.
Okay.
But so it's like the ring. You have like 18 hours.
Okay. So I was going to say Yoshi, but like Yoshi's the nickname.
Right.
Whereas Yoshisaur Munchakoopas. So whose first name is Munchakoopas?
I don't know. Maybe he hasn't eaten them yet.
Or maybe Yoshi is like the last in line of like...
Yeah, he's going to starve to death.
That sucks.
Which means that the Russian Gru who ate Paul Harvey was like Boris Paul.
Ron Paul.
Ron Paul was a Gru who ate Paul Harvey.
I was sad when he got eaten. I remember it was like 10 years ago or whatever. And because out of all the radio that my mom ever like listened to, because every time she would drive me to school, she'd be listening to KOB because that was just totally her thing, you know. And I wasn't like at the age at that point where I was really listening to a lot of like, you know, rock music or whatever. And it wasn't until maybe like 7th or 8th grade that I started getting into that kind of stuff. So, you know, 4th, 5th, 6th grade, when my mom would drive me to school, we'd listen to KOB in the morning, 7:30 or whatever. And Paul Harvey was the only thing I remember besides there was a lady named Dawn, and she would like always talk about like the weather. But I never knew the name Dawn, Dawn. I only thought
there was a woman named Dawn.
Don. Yeah, Donald. Yeah, I never liked that.
Have I ever told you my Denny's story?
Denny's, no.
We were going to Denny's one night, and I couldn't remember in my head like what Denny was short for. Like, what was your name that someone would call you Denny instead? And the answer I came up with was Denold.
Denold. Oh, gross. I don't like the idea of there's like you can do really gross things like
with names, right?
Tomathan. You know? And Juanita and I actually used to do this all the time. I don't know, maybe like it's just me and like I like these, you know, you do this obviously too, of course, because we're talking about it now. In one of my Harry Potter stories, I don't know like any of the characters' names except for like, you know, 5 characters, you know, Draco and Harry and Ron and Chinatown and Snape.
China from WWE.
China from WWE with their boob implants that popped. I named Harry Potter's dad Randolphathy. And I don't know if anybody else like just thought I was like making really dumb shit up, or if like they understood that I was making up like a super name.
Yeah.
But nobody ever commented on it, so I can't tell.
Right.
But I wanted to make like a name that if I ever met somebody who had that, I would not ever talk to them.
Well, see, that's a name that makes you very not susceptible to being eaten.
That's true. If no one would eat you, you name your kids something radical, they're safe from being eaten anyway. I mean, maybe they get run over and you can't help that, but Randolphathy. I don't know enough about Harry Potter. I've seen 1.5 of the movies.
I played the Game Boy Color game for like 30 minutes.
What was it like?
It was an RPG. It was actually pretty good.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Who developed it?
I don't know. I know it's published by EA, but I don't know who actually developed it.
Because if I ever think of like a Game Boy Color game based off of any license,
it's garbage.
100% of the time I think Infogrames. Yeah. Like that's the only like logo that pops into my head. I can't actually visualize anything else.
I always hated them. Because
one game I liked, but
they have a couple games that I like, but I always was mad because I was like, it should be Infor games.
Infor games,
like information games.
Information games. See, I always thought it was Infogrames, like info games with an R added in for no reason.
Right. I don't think they did it wrong.
There's some sort of logic that just got botched. But Looney Tunes Space Race on the Dreamcast, I really enjoyed.
They did Alone in the Dark, the original one.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
I did not realize that. I did not realize.
Real eyes, real lies, John.
Real eyes, real eyes. So we're approaching 2 o'clock. I'm actually not tired at this point. And again, nothing going on tomorrow. We can continue playing stuff or doing whatever.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about getting a snack while we continue to talk.
We can snack.
Okay.
Snack.
Okay.
I have a burrito.
Okay.
You're allowed to have a snack.
I think I'm gonna have a snack real quick.
What's your favorite word that rhymes with snack?
Pack, like PAK, like a game pack.
Oh,
yeah,
like pack watch.
Pack watch, yeah, exactly. Anything Nintendo Power related, I like by default, simply because the association with childhood, is so strong. So pack watch, classified information, and I love the idea that hey, here's a page of 4 secret spy, dossiers that we found that can tell you how to rename the characters in Rival Turf or whatever.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff to me is so exciting.
Because we weren't supposed to know about it.
Yeah, exactly. Stuff the developers didn't want you to see. It's like a BuzzFeed article headline or whatever.
Yeah.
A guy got a game over in Rival Turf. You'll never guess what happens next.
He put in a secret code and got to continue.
Exactly. I'm going to tell you about a character we have here in a second. I'm going to have some wheat thins. That's my snack.
Those are good.
They're really good. You can have some as well.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to pull my nose again.
Okay. But one of the big things was Dave and I were messing around with Rival Turf one night, and there's a character named Jawbreaker in the game.
Okay.
And it's so... I love how simple this... I don't even know how this worked because it doesn't have... Let me write this out real quick because I'm trying to visualize this in terms of the letters. So the character's name was Jawbreaker.
Okay.
All right. And we renamed it because basically the way it worked out is the code would let you rename any character in the game. And you could go through and Jawbreaker. See, I don't remember exactly how this worked out because he put Jawbreaker and we named him Jawgober somehow. And I thought it was the funniest thing. But I can't remember if you could backspace or whatever it was, but it became Jawgober. And we started drawing pictures, and eventually Jawgober was a really tough fish with a jacket who smoked. Is the character we ended up creating. But those are the kinds of cheats that would appeal to me more than any other in the classic days. Invincibility cheats were fine, stage select cheats were fine, but because they were so standard, it was kind of your game probably has this and that's cool.
Yeah.
But when you could go in and you could rename something, to me that was so special. There was something about that was suddenly a silly element of you even gets to interact with this game. When I was younger, I never had a good PC. It wasn't probably until I had a decent one in 7th grade. It was a 486 that could do basic DOS stuff. I could run Doom 2 at an okay frame rate, and I could play the LucasArts adventure games.
Yeah.
But before that, we had a Macintosh for a really long time because my brother was always oh, Macs are better because they don't do this, but the good they don't do this. They don't get viruses. They don't break down. They're really easy to whatever. And of course, they're really great for word processing and simple stuff. America Online. If you're using it for a mom and dad machine, they're really good.
Yeah.
As far as a game machine goes, at the time they weren't good at all. In fact, I remember we had to go buy an extra, I think 16 megs of RAM to even play Doom 2 on it when I bought for a Mac. And even though I could play it, I could really only play it at the smallest resolution possible to get even a decent frame rate. And so I would do that, and the picture itself was literally it had to have been 40 by 80 or something so small. But of course, Mac resolution at the time wasn't that great either. So I'd just put my face up to the screen and play like that, and it would be functional.
Yeah.
But I found this program because I used to go to like the AOL like message boards all the time and talk to people, and actually it was more chat rooms and message boards, but talk to people all the time and learn little things here and there. Eventually how to learn how to decode encrypted images and look at boobs for the first time or whatever when I was like in 6th, 7th grade. But I found this program called ResEdit, RESEDIT, and what it allowed you to do is you could open up any program and look through all of the lines of code. And I'm certainly far from a programmer, but I eventually learned how to identify text strings, and so I could go into games and edit the dialogue. So 7th grade John goes into SimAnt and starts editing all the lines of dialogue. So and of course it was lots of exclamation marks and poop and butt and pee-pee jokes or whatever.
Yeah.
And so the queen ant would vomit, and I could replace the sound file if I wanted to with from her vomiting, and then she would say something really ridiculous like eat my butt, ha ha ha, or whatever stupid thing it was. But to me at the time it was so monumental.
Right. Yeah.
That kind of customization was kind of like, that's mine. That's my mark. I'm the hacker now, you idiot. And I was so excited because it was always like, I want to release this into the wild and people pick, what version of SimAnt is this? It's going to be so cool. And of course it was the stupidest thing ever because no one but me would actually appreciate that.
Right.
But I appreciated it a lot. And I wish I still had any semblance of any of that kind of crap, but it's gone. We don't even have that computer anymore. What did you ever have experiences like that as a kid? Like anything that really stood out to you that was super special, or?
Well, when you talk about that, I remembered when we discovered that our sound blaster that we bought could do text to speech.
Oh my god,
that was basically the funniest moment of my young life.
Mm-hmm. Because you could do anything.
Yeah, you can make your computer say whatever you want.
Right,
and it has to. It doesn't get a say.
Yeah, that's true. It's not going to tattle on you. It'll do anything.
That was exciting.
Just so that you love it. Oh my god. I'll go.
I don't know.
Just real quick.
Yeah.
As I'm sitting here playing this, I was thinking of Game Grumps,
Yeah.
hanging out, talking, shooting the breeze, playing games, having a good time. And clearly we're nowhere near the level of publicity that those guys have. But it's basically the same thing.
Yeah.
And then it got me thinking some months back, I was in the middle of making something really special for Chris. I wrote her out a special card and drew a picture for her. And she opened at 4 the next morning at her job. And I was it was 12 at night and the gas station was closed, and I was going to go drop it off and leave a little note at the door for her. And while I was working on this stuff, I was watching Game Grumps all evening long, just background noise. And I was watching, I think it was one of the newer ones where it was Ego Raptor and Danny.
Yeah.
And they were playing Goonies 2. And I don't know if you've seen this episode.
I haven't.
Well, it made a revolution for me that I can no longer unhear. But whenever you open a door, it makes a distinct noise, right?
It's a door slamming when it opens.
It's basically the sort of the noise that it's going. However, I think it was Danny observed that it kind of sounds like it's going, lick my balls. And so now every time I hear it, it's 100% there, and I can't not hear it anymore. And that was my observation. Has there ever been anything in a game like an association that you've had with a certain sound effect or something visual that looked different than what it actually was?
Tons. I mean, we've talked about the telephone in Mega Man.
I love that it's universally recognized as a telephone.
Sorry, the telefridge.
Telefridge.
And it's funny you mentioned Game Grumps because my brother and I used to play a ton of Out of This World.
Damn it.
And so, Mike DeRubong was just a thing that we would say. And then it became a Game Grumps thing.
Mike DeRubong.
Yeah. I think in Game Grumps it's Mike DeRuba, but it's still basically the same sort of idea.
Right. How about visually? Is there ever anything you've seen in a game that looked really, really weird?
I'm trying to think because there's a lot of things that I've just seen wrong my whole life, and then eventually you look at it again and you're like, "Oh, I'm stupid."
See what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
One of the big ones that I had that always used to drive me nuts was Ninja Turtles. I think did we talk about this one? Ninja Turtles 2, the arcade game for Nintendo. And
so.
You can see like the whites of their eyes, like to the side of the pupils, and in between is green, or whatever color the headband was actually, so you blue, purple, whatever. But because like the contrast was so heavy, in there's white pixel, black pixel, blue, black, and then white to signify the eyes. But because the center was so dark with the pupils, it looked like one big eye, and I would always see them as like cyclopses, and it made me, and I can't not see that, and I hate it. And Pete and I actually had drawn out a couple of these like weird examples of things that we had seen that we disliked.
Yeah.
I also hate the idea of choking up a full like unprocessed nut. It's really disgusting. Or Link in Link to the Past, whenever he would pray, it looked like he got really chubby. Like his cheeks got really big. I never like that. Dang, is this it?
Yeah.
Well, if I remember how to beat King K. Rool. I haven't saved in so long. Was it autosave after you beat it?
It's a good question. I don't think so.
Did I just die?
Yeah.
I'm just going to do that just to be safe. Is that weird? I'm going to die to be safe?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nico says the strangest thing he's heard in the game is when Link said something like, "I can't wait to bomb some Dodongos."
Oh, damn
it. You goofed.
I pressed the button again.
I found a show that was basically Game Grumps today, but it was like it's the exact same formula, but it wasn't Game Grumps.
Yeah.
It's called Bro Bras.
Bro Bras, okay. What's the Bro Bras deal? Like, what's their?
They're just two dudes and they play video games.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with that. I did not find all the stuff, and I did not beat my record.
So you did badly.
I did. Yeah, I'm giving up. Okay. Fly me to King K. Rool.
I bet there's a kid out there. I bet there's a lot of kids out there that like made a habit of never beating the last boss of a game because then the game would be over.
I've always found it really interesting when people do that, because I've identified getting to the end of a game and been sad. Like I remember, I was really apprehensive of Chrono Cross when I first played the demo because I was like, this is so different and it's going to be weird, but whatever. And then all right. I ended up playing through it and I ended up liking it so much that as I got towards the end of the game, I remember, getting pseudo-depressed because I was like, I knew it was coming to an end. But I also knew that, like, I loved the experience so much that ultimately it was okay because I loved the game to death. But I've also talked to, a good handful of people that have gotten to the end of a game and then stopped because they didn't want it to end. But I also felt that would not fulfill me at all.
Right.
Have you done that? Have you gotten to something and stopped because you didn't want it to be over?
No, that's just not how I approach any task in my life.
Yeah.
Like I'm very much about completing things.
Yeah. Closure of some sort.
Yeah. Any sort, really.
Yeah. Oh, he punked me.
Okay, you did it. Put the controller down. You won.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to the other room now.
Coloring.
Kahlua. Uh-oh. Don't kill me. Oh, my God. I couldn't remember what his pattern was. Okay. Then he does the smaller jumps, right? Or is it two big ones and then smaller?
He's fat.
He is fat.
And he jumps like he only has one leg.
That's weird, yeah.
He jumps like a bird.
He's gone. We did it. Well done.
Donkey, my boy.
Is a Donkey Kong with the mange basically like a zombie Donkey Kong? Because they look really sickly.
I think that's the true Donkey Kong.
So this is a false Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
Like he's been gussied up.
Right. He's got the pomade in his hair.
He does. Oh my god, I got tricked. Speaking of pomade. So back in like 8th grade, I went to like this church camp with some friends. And we this is like the summer of 96, I think. Because this is like just a little bit before the 64 had come out, yeah. And I'd gone to this church camp with some friends. And I remember I met like some really cool people there. And I only actually keep in touch with like a couple of them at this point. But there was this group of kids, and they were African American kids. They were super duper nice, but you know, like when you're young, like and naive, like you just things happen.
Yeah.
But there was this one kid, and he had blue hair. And I was, and you know, of course, like the black people's hair has like a different texture and consistency to it, but it was blue, and I was like, oh, that's really cool, you know. And I had never dyed my hair or anything at that point, so I was like, how did you do that? And he goes, oh, I have this stuff in my dorm, or you know, our cabin or our room or whatever, called Blue Magic. And I was like, well, that sounds kind of cool. Can I use some? And they're like, yeah, sure, come on in. You just leave it in your hair, and then it becomes blue. And I was like, oh, this is gonna be great, right? And so I went to their cabin, and you know, they didn't break it all. I was actually really impressed at like their ability to like let this happen. But they took this Blue Magic, which is essentially like, I mean, black hair oil, and it was just greasy goo. So they just rubbed it all in, and like it was totally going in my hair. And I was like, okay, cool. You know, how long do I wait? And they're like, oh, just like wait like a day or two, but just make sure you don't wash it out. And I was like, okay, that's fine. And then I went and talked to one of my friends. I think her name was, there's Sarah, and there's another girl named Colleen. And I talked to Colleen or Sarah, and I was like, hey, so how long do I got to wait? And they were like, for what? And I said, well, I have this Blue Magic in my hair, you know, and it's going to turn my hair blue. And they were like, no, that's not what happens with that. And I was like, what? And so they explained to me that it was completely just like super duper ultra like hair grease, pomade, you know, stuff that would just, and so for the next like 3 days, because a shower didn't take care of that, and there's no way, it was so thick and awful and gross, and my hair was just like disgusting, and I remember being super duper duper upset. But Blue Magic, man, these guys got me. They got me.
You gonna get them back?
I'm gonna find them. Yeah, 20 years later, I'm gonna exact my revenge on the black kids who put grease in my hair. I don't know. I don't remember their names. I don't remember anything about them.
Their names were Chip and Diddy.
Chip and Diddy. Chip and Diddy's Rescue Rangers. Oh my god, that's box art is waiting to happen. That can totally just be a thing. I did this using one life. It took less than an hour.
I remember as a kid when he said that, I was like, do I have to do this without losing a life in under an hour?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
What if I do that? Does he say like, oh, you're really good? Like,
yeah.
I just wanted his approval.
Yeah, please, cranky. Yeah. I'm assuming they took it out of this version, because I'm assuming like this version of the game is like an updated ROM.
Yeah.
But there was a warp that you could take in the first level. Totally just a glitch in the game. So you get in, you get Rambi, you get knocked off Rambi if I'm not mistaken, and then you beat the level. And as you're walking down from Jungle Hijinks to like the next area, if like you keep like hitting like left and B or one of the buttons on the pad, it would warp you to the middle of Orangutan Gang in the third world. And I remember that being like a really cool trick. And I'm assuming I told you about the contest where I played Donkey Kong Country at Walmart.
Yeah.
And of course, I won a copy of Shaq Fu. And I was too scared to use that trick, so I didn't want anybody to catch me and be caught cheating or whatever. So I actually made my way like 5 minutes halfway through the second world. I just blazed through the whole thing, especially because there's like a bunch of cool little there's the tricks, there's the warps. If you're not going for percentage or anything, you can blaze through pretty quickly. Like the minecart, carnage or whatever, where you jump at the beginning of the level and skip the whole thing and 2 minutes off your time completely. But I miss doing stuff like that, and I really want to start bringing elements like that back to the shop. And I would love to get the Retro Gaming League going again at some point. There's also a lot of planning and preparation and stuff I can't currently
administration.
do. Yeah. I would love to, but not today. Gym Power for SNES, Truck Tube Game Boy Color, Dark Command for NES. I can do that. Gym Power came with 3D glasses because a buddy of mine, Lucas, he got that, I think, from his parents for Christmas or something. And we tried using the 3D glasses with other games because, it wasn't a 3D game. It would just do something like the parallax scrolling that would mess up your eyes. And with the glasses, I remember playing Donkey Kong Country with it in the snow level and being like, dude, it was crazy. It was very drugs. Good times, though.
His hand is not turning that crank.
No.
The way he's moving his hand, it would be turning the crank the other direction than it's spinning.
Do you think he's using a dark sorcery to confuse Donkey Kong? Yes. He just throws TNT at his son's boombox or grandson or whatever their relationship actually is. I don't even know.
If Cranky Kong, because I think that's son, right? I think they're supposed to be father and son.
Is it father son or is it grandson? Because is Donkey Kong Jr. removed from this whole thing?
I always assumed that Donkey Kong in Donkey Kong Country was Donkey Kong Jr. grown up.
Okay, he could be Junior.
Which means that he's got to be 35. He's just a single
35-year-old. Okay.
Because that's an old man.
He's very old. 70.
Yeah, 35.
35, right. So 35 is how old Cranky Kong is. And Donkey Kong
17 and a half.
17 and a half. Diddy Kong 12.
Sure, yeah.
11, 12 years old.
Look at his stupid face. Their faces look like pistachios.
We kind of do. I always loved that effect.
It's funny because this is the kind of stupid crap you get with an Amiga game.
Yeah.
But without having that frame of reference, I was just like, what? They rolled it up and there was another title screen underneath.
I know, yeah. It doesn't make any sense.
What is your least favorite game?
My least favorite game?
Yeah.
Jeez. Are we doing by system or of all time?
We'll do it by system.
Okay. System are we starting with?
The Sega Saturn.
Oh. Least favorite Sega Saturn game. Battle Monsters.
That's a really bad game.
It's pretty bad.
That game is so bad. A friend of mine gave me, he's like, hey, I'm selling my Saturn. I just have all these games in their cases with manuals. Do you want them? I'll just give them to you. I was like, oh, hell yeah.
Sure,
absolutely.
Yeah. Why not?
And at the time my Saturn wasn't working. I needed to replace the battery in it again. And he gave me Mr. Bones. And I was looking at it and I was like, oh, it's like a Sega 3D platformer.
Yeah.
This would be really good. I went online and looked it up and it was like, Mr. Bones is the worst game on the Saturn.
Oh.
I was like, damn it.
How much of Mr. Bones have you played?
None.
I don't actually think it's not a great game. It's not a good game, but there's a charm to it, I have to admit, and I would much rather play Mr. Bones than I would Battle Monsters, in all honesty. Because the thing about Mr. Bones is it's one of those kinds of games. Think of it like as like an Earthworm Jim development style in that like one level is a platformer, and then one level is like, play back the pattern, of like the drums or whatever, and then the next level. And so it's like 4 or 5 different like gameplay styles within the whole game, and that's kind of cool. It's not that it's well done, but I always liked when there was like a fun variety. So that way, if the platforming sucked, at least it wasn't the full game.
Yeah. What's your least favorite Sega CD game?
Oof. I do not like Night Trap.
It's not fun.
No. And I have a lot of copies of it. They're in I have like 80 copies still in my garage just sitting there.
That's ridiculous. 8.
I have a lot of copies in there. Yeah.
8T.
8T.
Did you know the T in Sonic the Hedgehog is capitalized?
Oh, right, because his middle name is the.
Yeah.
According to the trademark.
Alan Nielsen, Sega's marketing manager, registered the as Sonic's middle name.
That's really funny. Least favorite Sega CD game. Because Night Trap sucks. I wonder if there has to be something worse. Because like usually any of like the FMV games were my least favorite. But I played them. I know Caitlin really, really likes them. She always cites that. And of course I know it's like guilty pleasure kind of like.
Yeah, well she also is like, no, Wirehead is a good game. And I'm like, no.
The charm to them in terms of cheesiness, I understand that appeal. If you it's like watching, you love Bruce Campbell movies or whatever. If that's like your or Bollywood or whatever.
Yeah.
If that's, your kind of thing. I love Arnold movies, not because I'm like, these are cinematic masterpieces. But besides Night Trap, besides FMV games, I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I ever rented and played that was just like, might just be Night Trap. I'd have to think about it because, like, even Ground Zero Texas or
Sewer Shark,
at least I could figure out like the game element of them. Not that I even liked them, but I liked Night Trap less. Is ultimately what it came down to.
Yeah.
What about you?
Least favorite Sega CD game?
Yeah.
There's a lot of bad ones. I really have never found a way to enjoy Sonic CD. It's not my least favorite.
Sure.
But I don't get that game. It bugs me. I don't get it.
What do you not get about it?
I don't get why you time travel.
It's a silly mechanic, explanation-wise. I think I liked it mostly just because it gave you musical variety for stages.
Yeah.
But as a mechanic, I actually never liked it either. I liked the bonus stages, but I didn't like time travel because the time travel was too difficult to get consistently because like not all the levels are set up to be able to run fast enough to warp.
Yeah.
And then there's also no reason to go to the future unless you just want to see what it looks like when it's good or bad, I guess. Also, here's shit. Now I'm fucked up. So, if the past is bad, why does it make the future bad and not the present also bad?
Yeah.
That's see that we're getting into it now.
What's your least favorite Jaguar game?
Most. Trevor McFur is very bad.
Yeah.
I do not like that game. I do not like Cybermorph. I do not like Checkered Flag. I do not like Bubsy. Though I'd choose Bubsy above many of those. It's funny when Bubsy is like a top tier game on your system. What does that speak for everything else? What else was there? I only have a small handful of Jaguar. Actually, I only have like I think 2. No, I've got a handful of Jaguar games over there. I got to check and see what I've got. Worst Jaguar game. Trevor McFur. I hate Cybermorph. A lot. I remember, Wolfenstein 3D was fine on it as well, too. I'm not going to say it was good either, but, like, at the time especially, I remember renting a Jaguar, and I rented Wolfenstein and Alien vs. Predator. And even Alien vs. Predator being, like, maybe the best game on the system still wasn't great, but I enjoyed it. I played it a fair amount. I was never quite as pulled in as I was, say, by, like, Doom or something of the sort. But Cybermorph. What was the sequel to Cybermorph?
I want to say T-Mac, but that's not it.
No. I don't remember. But did you ever play Highlander for the Jaguar CD?
No.
One of my old employees had a working Jag CD, and he brought it in for us to see at one point. It was very impressively awful. I don't even know if I played it. I might have just watched him play it. But
I don't get how the Jaguar can be so bad. Like, from the inside out, everything about the Jaguar is a piece of shit.
Yeah. There's nothing about that system that I would say has any advantage over any machine of that era.
Even the cart shape is stupid.
The cart shape is bad. The controller has lots of buttons that are stupid. And I guess like they were going after like the almost like the Intellivision kind of like, you know, hey, look, we have swappable controller faceplates for whatever game you're playing. And I theoretically like that, but I hated actually executing it.
Yeah.
Not good. Dang. Well, I don't know. I don't know anymore. I don't know about my life. I don't know about the secret life of Walter Mitty anymore.
That has Ben Stiller in it.
It does. He's inside of it. Inside of the film reel. Unless it was shot digitally, and then he's inside of the DVD-ROM. Well, I might be getting to that point where we retire for the evening. We could do another one tomorrow as well, too.
Yeah.
We got all kinds of opportunities. We can make it a little bit more, you know, I'm not that tonight's wasn't exciting or full of good banter, but it's also really late and we're both tired.
It's true.
So maybe some sort of like good mid-afternoon or evening kind of podcast will work out. Revolver, that's cute. So thank you to any of you who decided to tune in tonight and rejoin us. We're going to try to really make this a regular thing again because it's so much fun.
It is a lot of fun.
It's just a lot of fun. There's just so many things to talk about. And even if we're not necessarily talking about video games, which that's what the Cyber Zone, you know, it's the theme, but it's not the content. And go back and listen to some of our old podcasts. You can find them all on iTunes. You can check them out on the YouTube page here. But go watch them and have a good time because things come up. Things happen. We talk about caulking your eyes shut, which is basically we're offering a coupon this evening for a discounted.
I'll do it for $5.
Mike will do it for $5. You just tell him the time and price. You have to bring your own caulk, yeah, but he'll do the actual service for you for a very, very discounted price. So, yeah, I mean, thank you guys again for watching. We had Nico, Adrian, you know, probably Morgan, Samantha. I know a handful of people who did join in. Not sure who came in and out, but thank any of you who did decide to join us tonight. And hope you can join us again next time we broadcast, which will give you more ample warning than just sort of, hey, we're live right now. But yeah, it's been good. And there you have it.
Yeah, go away.
Go away. Have a good night, folks. And until next time, Cyber Zone.